Diffusion is a process of movement of molecules from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. This process plays an important role in various biological processes, including those in plants. During photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide and release oxygen, and during respiration, they use oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Diffusion helps to move these gases through the stomata and into or out of the plant. Diffusion in plants can be the movement of carbon dioxide, CO2, from the air into the leaves of a plant during photosynthesis. When plants open their stomata, which are tiny pores on the leaves, CO2 diffuses from an area of high concentration, the air, to an area of low concentration, inside the leaf. This diffusion process allows plants to take in the CO2 they need for photosynthesis, which is essential for their growth and survival. Osmosis is a process in which water molecules move through a selectively permeable membrane from an area of higher water concentration to an area of lower water concentration, in an attempt to balance the concentration of solutes on both sides of the membrane. In living cells, osmosis plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of water and solutes inside and outside the cell. For example, if a cell is placed in a solution with a higher concentration of solutes than the cell, water will move out of the cell through osmosis, causing the cell to shrink. On the other hand, if a cell is placed in a solution with a lower concentration of solutes than the cell, water will move into the cell through osmosis, causing the cell to swell or even burst. Exosmosis. It is the outward diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the surrounding solution is more concentrated. Endosmosis. It is the inward diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the surrounding solution is less concentrated. Osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure is the pressure that is required to prevent the movement of water molecules across a selectively permeable membrane from a region of higher water concentration to a region of lower water concentration, in an attempt to equalize the concentration of solutes on both sides of the membrane. Tonicity. It is the relative concentration of the solution that determines the direction and extent of diffusion is called tonicity. There are three types of tonicity: hypertonic, hypotonic, and isotonic. 1. Hypertonic solution. A solution with a higher concentration of solutes compared to another solution is called a hypertonic solution. When a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, water will move out of the cell through osmosis, causing the cell to shrink. 2. Hypotonic solution. A solution with a lower concentration of solutes compared to another solution is called a hypotonic solution. When a cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, water will move into the cell through osmosis, causing the cell to swell or even burst. 3. Isotonic solution. A solution with the same concentration of solutes as another solution is called an isotonic solution. When a cell is placed in an isotonic solution, there will be no net movement of water, and the cell will remain the same size. Passive transport. Passive transport is nothing different from diffusion. Passive refers to requiring no input of energy. There is a free movement of molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. Active transport. Active transport is the passage of a substance, salt or ion, from its lower to higher concentration through a living cell membrane using energy from the cell. Turgidity and flaccidity. Turgidity refers to the state of a plant cell when it is full of water and the cell membrane is pressed firmly against the cell wall. This occurs when water enters the cell through osmosis, a type of passive transport, because the concentration of water outside the cell is higher than inside the cell. When a plant cell is turgid, it becomes rigid and firm, providing structural support to the plant. This is particularly important for non-woody plants, which do not have the structural support provided by lignified cell walls. Turgidity also allows plants to maintain their shape and prevents wilting. Flaccidity refers to the state of a plant cell when it lacks water and the cell membrane is not pressed firmly against the cell wall. This occurs when water is lost from the cell, either due to a lack of water in the environment or due to water loss through transpiration. When a plant cell is flaccid, it becomes soft and floppy, and the cell membrane can pull away from the cell wall. This can cause the plant to wilt and lose its shape. If the plant loses too much water and the cells become severely flaccid, It can lead to permanent damage or death of the plant. Plasmolysis. It is the contraction of the cytoplasm from the cell wall caused due to the withdrawal of water when placed in a strong, hypertonic, solution. Uses of turgidity. 1. Turgidity provides rigidity to soft tissues such as leaves. 2. Turgor pressure helps to push through the hard ground as on mushrooms and in a seedling. 3. Turgor in root cells builds up root pressure. Root pressure. The upward flow of water is due to a heavy pressure from the roots, which is called the root pressure. 4. Turgor helps in opening and closing of stomata. 5. Turgor movement. The rapid drooping of the leaves of the sensitive plant, Mimosa pudica, OS an outstanding example of turgor movement.